with you live online today. I wanted to talk to you about the LEAF project, which is currently running here in TU Dublin. And the LEAF project is a project that was funded under the fellowship scheme. And the project team is made up of 18 different team members across the whole of the institution, across the 4 colleges and 10 different schools. So it's a wide representation of different academic staff. The project name represents learning and engaging with assessment and feedback, and that's really the focus of the project. So what I want to do today is to just tell you in a few minutes about the sort of process of the project and where we are with it. So this poster shows you the process that we've gone through in the project to date. So in the first instance, what we needed to do was to collect information to be able to identify what the issues are in relation to assessment and feedback strategy. So we already knew that there are some really good examples of good practice within the institution, but we also knew that there were concerns within the institution, and also internationally this is an issue that's been grappled with in lots of institutions worldwide. So in the first case, what we wanted to do was to identify what sorts of problems might be out there. So we did this in a number of different ways. In the first case, we wanted to collect the student views, and so we did this with quantitative analysis of data such as the ISSE data to see what issues they were bringing up in their feedback. The second thing we did was a literature review, and this was an extensive review of the academic literature in relation to assessment and feedback to identify what were the issues that were being discussed, and also what the possible solutions that were being implemented by other people. We also wanted to get an academic staff perspective on this, which hadn't been collected before, and this was a survey that was sent out to all staff in the institution, asking them questions about their assessment and feedback practices, about their concerns, about the challenges, etc. So then that provides a voice for this key stakeholder in the whole process too. Then interviews were undertaken with both national and international experts, again to feed into our understanding of the knowledge. So this provided the basis for us to be able to identify what the key issues were. And you'll see in the image here in the middle on the leaf then the issues that are being identified, and in most cases these issues are being identified across all different sources that we had looked at in the first in the first stage. So things here like, for example, the use of technology and the challenges and the opportunities that that creates in terms of new methods of both assessment and feedback. Large group sizes, again, that was an issue that was coming up in particular from the staff perspective as something that necessitated a relook at assessment practices to think about ways of doing it differently. Over-assessment is something that was coming up in the literature and also on from the students' point of view, thinking about how do we define over-assessment, what is it and how do we address it. A key issue in the literature is around the nature of feedback and the traditional view of feedback as a monologue rather than a dialogue. And so by that what's meant is that it's feedback that the lecturer provides to the student on a one-way basis. And the thinking now is that feedback needs to be much more of a dialogue and an interaction between the student and lecturer. And so how can that be achieved with using technology and also using different practices? Time was another issue that probably unsurprisingly for you is being brought up by staff as a challenge as to how to get assessments turned around in the time frame that's required. Consistency. So how is consistency across modules addressed? And that's one of the issues, again, thinking from a program point of view, and the literature is really pushing this idea of moving to thinking from program perspectives and student experience perspectives rather than just the module perspective, which is traditionally what we often do in the case of looking at the assessments that we choose to do. Thinking about what constitutes feedback and how a lecturer may feel that they've given feedback to the students, but the students don't identify that that's what just happened in the last few minutes of discussion. Helping students to gauge their progress and what do students do with feedback and how can we change that to make it more useful. So from the identification of these issues then, we have engaged in, and that's what we're at the stage that we're at the moment, is engaging in trials of tools that may address some of these issues. So that's happening primarily at the module level here. You can see the list of some of the sorts of tools that we've been trialing, things like peer-wise, audio feedback, video feedback, early feedback, summative assessment. So those sorts of things are all being trialed at the moment across all sorts sorts of different programs in schools. We also have taken a program approach, and the program approach focuses on the idea of looking at assessments across whole programs, and we are doing that in one school in particular across 3 different programs using the TESTA approach. Then from the student point of view, we are working with the Students' Union, and here we are looking at developing resources that will help students engage with assessment and feedback. This will involve thinking about how we deal with assessment and feedback in induction, providing information in the form of a leaflet, but also electronic resources. We're building video resources, for example, to help them develop skills and to help them address the issues that they tend to raise with regards to assessment and feedback. So that's the whole student element. And then at the institutional level, some of the issues that we've identified that need to be addressed are around the culture of the institution, the importance with which we attach assessment and feedback in teaching and learning, thinking about champions for assessment and learning, and quality assurance is a key way in which we think that assessment and feedback can become very much part of our everyday practice, if you like, in terms of the way that we run program team meetings and the way that we engage in program reviews. So we're discussing all of these sorts of institutional issues at the moment, and we are sort of developing strategies and proposals that we'll then put forward as a sort of a clear outcome of the project. So the project is very much focused on practical changes, I suppose, that can be instigated at the institutional programme module and student level in order to improve assessment within the DIT structures. So this project is due to finish in June 2019, and the outcome of the project will be a wide variety of student and staff resources in order to help improve or make us think differently about the way you engage with assessment and also feedback. And it will also propose strategies for the institutional and the programme level. So in this way, the project will have fulfilled its main objective to be able to affect change in terms of assessment and feedback practices across TU Dublin. If you have any questions or queries about the project, please feel free to contact me at my email. Thank you.